1212, I go by the name of DJ What, and you're now listening to the original Jeek podcast. Let's go!
Ready to make an entrance, so backward cut.
Come on, cut for me.
Oh, yeah. Whoa, slow down. Whoa, speed up.
Fresh.
Making me itch.
Welcome back, ladies, gentlemen, Jeeks of all ages. I am your host, RockinMrMagic, and he is
UniqDNA.
And this is the original Jeek podcast. UniqDNA, my man, what is good?
What's up, bro? What's going on?
Chilling. Good up in here, man.
We back consistently. It's been a while.
Word, it's been a while. We are back at it, more on the consistent tip. We are trying to improve our recording, our technology, doing some local copies as well as, on the cloud. So we're trying to make sure that when we drop another podcast, it hits and it hits hard.
Yes, sir.
So we've got some cool topics to talk about today, some varied topics, as well as a main topic that is community suggested. So we're really excited to bring that to y'all today, this Sunday night. First off, I want to give another shout out to Jeek community member Josh Fitzgerald. He's been recruiting of late. He had recruited before, added a couple more of his homies. Thank you, Josh, for continuing inviting your friends to join us on Facebook. And also, since we've hit 200 members, we are on Discord as well. We have a Discord server. There is a link in the community. And when you join, there's also a link there so you can continue on the crazy Jeek train, going down that rabbit hole on Discord as well as Facebook.
Yes, sir.
So it's been about a week since we last recorded.
Yep.
Yeah, and so UniqDNA, what you been playing, man?
Same as last week.
That's okay.
Not much has changed. Yeah.
Look, the portability of the Switch is amazing.
Yeah.
And Animal Crossing is so crack heavy, addictive that
it definitely is.
There ain't no shame if that's what you primarily play. And
yeah, you know what too, which is funny because Sunday had to be last Sunday. No, was it? Yeah, I don't remember what day it was, but anyway, sometime last week, I hurt my back, and I was out cutting the grass, and
you hurt your back cutting the grass.
Yeah, I know.
You too young to hurt your back cutting grass.
Signs of age, right?
That's supposed to happen to you in like your 40s, man. Come on.
Well, so the thing is, like, my backyard is so like uneven. Like, it's just like, bumps and crevices everywhere. So I think I just stepped in like a dip. And while I was cutting the grass, so whatever it is, I twisted it wrong or whatever. So like, I kind of threw my back out a little bit.
Oh.
And I was in the backyard and I didn't even do the front yard yet. So I was just like, I fought through it. I finished the front yard.
Oh, wow. You pushed through that zone.
Yeah. And so anyway, I said all that to say, so I was sitting up.
Because the wife didn't want to hear about how you hurt your back and couldn't finish the lawn.
Yeah. So I'm sitting, I was pretty much laid up in the bed, for 2 to 3 days. And I was in my, in the bedroom, and I'm like, man, I should go get the PS4 and bring it upstairs. Because I'm just sitting here doing nothing. Like I was watching, some Prime videos and movies, stuff like that. But and I was, bring out the Switch every once in a while.
Yeah.
But I was mostly just doing nothing because I'm just like, how it is when you get your back, you can't do anything. So I'm just laid up and I'm like, man, I should bring the PS4 upstairs and just like go hard on Red Dead or something. You know, I was like, this is the perfect time to finish the campaign.
Yes.
Yeah, it never happened though. I was just like, well, for one thing, it was like
When you got
really hard getting down the stairs.
Yeah, well, you gotta get downstairs. You gotta bend over and
Right.
get and disconnect everything.
Right.
Bring it upstairs.
Exactly.
Reconnect everything,
Exactly.
and then your wife gonna be like, "I thought you were back with her."
Right. So yeah, so I was like, I'm just gonna leave it. But yeah, I was thinking about it, and I'm like, man, that would have been a nice, you know, something to talk. I mean, I guess it still worked, right? It's still something to talk about.
It's still
but
something to talk about.
It'd have been nice if we were able to talk about, like, yeah, you know, I spent the whole week playing PS4 since, you know, I was laid up in the bed almost the whole week.
Well, I must confess, I didn't play much new either. Red Dead, played some Destiny with Jeek Nation community member Mylan Blackmore. Did some Destiny 2 stuff. Unfortunately, he dropped off when I really needed his help, so I couldn't complete this one quest to get this weapon. Because I tried, but I could not do that joint. I could not solo that joint. It was way too much going on in there. But for the Destiny, obviously stick on Red Dead. Played some Red Dead today. I turned on Hitman, since that's one of the games, you know, that yeah, it was the newest one, whatever, on PS4.
Yeah, but that's still.
But still, it's a few years old, and yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's like 2016 or something like that.
Something like, yeah, I remember when it came out.
So I was like, all right, let me start this. But it was 4 o'clock in the morning, so I stay up long enough to actually even like, I turn it on and I'm going through the tutorial. I'm like, all right, okay. What? Okay. And then I fell asleep.
That happened to me with, I was watching Jack Ryan, and I was like, I should finish this. And yeah, it was like 3 o'clock in the morning because the baby had just woke up, but I couldn't do anything because like usually he wakes up and I'll get up, but like I couldn't do anything.
You couldn't do anything about it. You're just laying there.
Yeah. So my wife got up and she went and took him, and I was like, well, since I'm up, might as well just finish off this, you know, season 2 of Jack Ryan, and yeah, I got through like maybe 20 minutes, and I was
you out. I don't know what it is about Krasinski, but I can't take him seriously.
You know what?
He looks like a goober. He looks like Eli Manning. Like,
it was really hard to take him serious. Like when I was watching it, I was just like, I don't see him as like, you know, this top CIA
tough guy, like super smart dude. And people say, oh, that's because of The Office. And I'm like, I'm not even a fan of The Office. I just look at him and I see an Eli Manning clone that I can't take seriously. Like he's got a soft face. He's got soft features. Yes. You know, he's got still some baby face, chubby face aspect to him. And I look at him, I'm like, bruh, there's nothing tough guy, intimidating, you know, that you're going to interrogate somebody and I'm going to believe it, you know. Yeah. When Harrison Ford was Jack Ryan, I believed that.
But you know, the story kept me engaged because, you know, yeah, I couldn't take him seriously, but like, the whole story kept me engaged.
It's one of those things I have to watch it because I love the Jack Ryan stories, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I look at Krasinski, I can't do it. I just can't do it.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, it was one part, it was like a fight scene, and I was just like, I can't watch this like without laughing, because I was just like, I just couldn't take him seriously.
You look at this dude like, I know this dude can't fight.
But yeah, the overall story, I was like, yeah, this is good. So that's the reason why I've been sticking with it. But yeah, that was my old, like, on top of, you know, throwing my back out right grass, I'm like, how much older can you be? You can't even finish the whole episode.
Right? Then turn the TV on.
I remember my dad used to do that. He's like,
turn the TV on. I'm gonna watch something. Daddy, can I watch something? No, I'm gonna watch something.
No, I'm watching it.
10 minutes later, he's out.
Yeah, and then my dad's a snorer too. So like it wasn't even like he could fake it.
He couldn't pull the. I'm just resting my eyes once. Yeah.
Like, he'd be like, yeah, I'm watching this. And I'm like, all right. And next thing you know, you hear him snoring, and you're like, you go sneak to go change the channel. Hey, what you doing? I'm watching that.
Yep. Can't change it because he'll hear it. He'll hear the subconscious. The sound will be different. He's like, hey, leave that alone.
Like, man, you was snoring. Like, you were out. Like, oh my gosh.
I put on Magnum PI, and I haven't watched Magnum in years.
I did see you was watching that.
I posted that. It's been a long time since I watched Magnum, and I'm sitting there. I watched 2 episodes. The third one comes, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna make it through this one. Let me stop while I'm ahead.
Let me not even kid myself.
Like, no, yeah. And plus, one of the twins was asking 8 million questions, and I'm like, child, just watch. Shut up and watch.
That's always the worst.
Like, he's like, I don't have patience, and I'm like, shut up and watch. If you want to know the answers, watch. And I'm like, I don't even remember. She's like, you remember? I said, baby, I haven't watched the show before you were born. Like, come on, it's been a long time.
Right.
Watch Magnum PI, y'all, if you haven't watched Magnum. Tom Selleck was Z-Man.
I haven't watched it. You should watch it.
So good. So, moving into our quick hits topics for today. News that just dropped mere hours ago out of Foxborough, Massachusetts. Cam Newton, Cam tight pants, Joker hat wearing, flower shirt, calves out, no dress shoes, with the super weird wingtips. Cam Newton is now Bill Belichick's quarterback for the New England Patriots.
This is gonna be interesting.
What? It's just as Madden. I'm like, okay. This. I mean, Cam's only 30, 31 years old. He's still super athletic. He's a talented dude. This guy was an MVP. He took a very similar team that had very few offensive weapons, and that was mostly defense, to a Super Bowl. I mean, they got their butts kicked, but he got them there. So one can surmise that Belichick should be able to get something out of Cam Newton.
Yeah.
But the problem is that Cam is such a character. Mentally, can these two click? Because talent-wise, the talent is there. But like Chad Johnson couldn't work in New England, and Albert Hainsworth couldn't work in New England. Some of these dudes just mentally, they ain't there on that page to be able to work in New England.
Yeah.
That's going to be the challenge.
Yeah. I think he can pull it off. I think his mentality's changed a little bit. I think he's matured some. I mean, not a lot, but he's don't get me wrong. I already know. I see your face.
I didn't say nothing.
Okay, well, I already knew what you was thinking.
My mind was blank. Okay.
But yeah, I think he's matured. Since that last run, that Super Bowl run, it seems like he's matured a lot more. Definitely not where he should be, but I don't see you don't see as much of the. I mean, we still see him, but you don't see as much of the crybaby Cam as you used to see.
Okay, yeah.
Before, and I think he realizes what it takes to win. I think he knows that he's got to put some things aside, specifically his feelings, for the greater good of the team.
Yeah.
And I think he's realized that after that, that Super Bowl run, because I mean, that was the one year that he did that.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't see a whole lot of him with the whining and the complaining and the sulking on the sidelines and the the towel over his head.
Yep.
And, all the antics he used to pull. You saw him out there, and he just was doing what he had to do. When they were down, he
made it happen.
He made it happen, and brought them all the way to the Super Bowl. So I think he can. I think he can pull it off. And we all know Belichick ain't no slouch. So he's not gonna take no crap.
No.
And, especially like he, probably he's not gonna take no crap. He's especially after losing Brady and losing what's his
Gronk.
name? Gronk. He's looking to rebuild and come with basically prove that he doesn't need them. You know what I mean? So
I mean, he's got a talented piece, but we are talking about a 1-year deal here. So this is kind of
it's definitely a trial.
Hey, it's a trial. It's
definitely,
yeah.
I think it's definitely like, hey, let's see if this is work. We got chemistry. Let's see if this will work out, and if we do good, then we'll take our team option or player option, or we'll work out a deal, right? Or if it doesn't work out, then see you later, right? Yeah, but I we
but you're confident that you think it can work.
I think it can work.
So what does work look like? Are we talking, because 12-4 seems to be what they average in wins and losses for the past decade plus.
I don't see 12-4.
Okay.
I see a winning season.
So at least 10. You thinking 10 wins?
I say at least 10. I can see them having a winning season.
Do they win the division?
That's tough. I don't know.
And the one of the division's trash generally.
Well,
we got the Jets and Miami and Buffalo. I mean,
but Buffalo did pretty good last year.
Buffalo's better. I mean, the Buffalo is not a team to overlook, but the Jets are still trash.
Yeah.
And Miami is still trash.
Right. So I mean, it's a toss up because Buffalo did really good last year, and I can see them. Now they can definitely gonna give the Pats a run for the division.
Okay.
But I just don't know. I don't know if they can. I don't know if they can win it. But it's also, I mean, you got the Buffalo with pretty much the same team from last year, same chemistry and everything, and then you got this new dynamic now with Cam and whoever else they're bringing in, and him trying to learn the team learning him, learning new
offense.
You got to learn a new offense.
Well,
you got to learn.
My thing with that is, will they change the offense? Because
I don't think they.
Well, but here's my thing though. Josh McDaniel is still there. Josh McDaniel had some limited but some success, and there was a reason why he drafted Tebow when he was in Denver, because he likes, and he even brought Tebow in to try to make the Patriots. He likes quarterbacks who can move.
Yeah.
So they could. I mean, they've changed the offense before. They could change the offense around Cam's skill set. I know they don't want him running the way he did in his younger days, but you still want to take advantage of the fact that he's dangerous with his legs. Like, they may spread it out. There's a lot of different things they could do. Like, and to me, and that's part of what Belichick's genius has been, is building around the skill set of his players, maximizing them. And if Cam right now is his most potent weapon, to me, it just makes sense that they would change the offense. And you have a coordinator that can work with a mobile quarterback.
Yeah. I mean, I don't see, it would make sense for them to build around Cam being more mobile, because we know Brady was never mobile.
Never.
He didn't even have the potential for that. So it would make sense to build around that.
Yeah, no more 20-yard runs, but
right.
Give me 6-8 yards and slide. Keep the chains moving.
Right. Right. And also keep the defense on their toes.
Yeah, and you don't want to take Cam Newton and turn him into a pocket passer.
Right.
Nickel and diming them down the field.
Right.
I mean, if you can add that wrinkle to his game, cool. But you need to keep him, keep that dual threat.
The question is, does his shoulder hold up?
Yeah,
That's the question.
that's a big question.
If his shoulder holds up,
But see, I don't think last year the problem was really the shoulder. I think the problem was more mental than physical. That's my guess.
I mean, yeah, I could see that. I could definitely see that. But we also can only go by what they told us, and they told us it was the shoulders. So,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So I mean, but knowing Cam and his attitude, it probably was mental more than anything else. But yeah, I don't know, man.
Give me a win-loss prediction.
I'd say 10-6.
10-6.
Yeah.
Okay. Man, it's tough. My gut wants to say 10-6 because I know their schedule's a little tougher this year. But that defense is still really good, and that division is so weak. I'm going to give him 12 wins. I'm going to say if Cam fits in, he buys into the Patriot way and all that stuff,
Yeah.
I think they can get 12 wins. I think
So
they
you're
can
going
go.
12
I
and
think
4.
they can go 12-4. I definitely don't think they get 14-2 or anything like that. But because he still has they still have weapons to throw to. They still got, what's his name? I forget his name. Great. I can't. 11. The dude was the quarterback in college, who had the miraculous catch against the Falcons. I can't believe I'm racking my brain. Amendola's on my mind, but Amendola's in Detroit with us.
Yeah.
What is his name?
I'm trying to remember who you're talking about.
The dude with the beard, the little dude. I shouldn't remember his name, but it's been so long since I've taught football because ain't nothing going on. But they still have the running back by committee. They still got, with Sony Michel and James White. They'll be good for them if they could get a deep threat since they dropped Josh Gordon. That hurt them last year. But you know what? Now I'm going to have to look it up because it's driving me nuts. I don't remember his name.
I'm trying to remember what you're talking about.
Number 11. Julian Edelman.
Ah, okay. That was the name I was thinking too, but I was like, no, that sounds right.
So Edelman will. He's there. He's got experience. He's a great hands guy that can, especially because being a slot receiver, he'll be able to get open and creative things or broken down plays that Cam should be able to get him the ball in those type of situations.
Yeah.
I definitely think, and obviously it's June. They could still make a splash and bring other people in. Some other weapons for him to throw the ball to, and they've already got running game, so it'll be interesting to see what they do. That's why I think 12 wins. I do think they'll cater the offense around him, his skill set more. And even when Tom was out, a couple years ago, when they still had Jimmy G, and Jimmy G got hurt, and they threw in Jacoby Brissett, and they said, okay, we're going to have to play different with Brissett because he doesn't have the arm that Jimmy G has, but he's got legs, so we're going to have to play this way. And they only lost one game with Brissett under center, so it's like, as flexible as they can be, you give me Cam Newton, and we're assuming he's healthy, and he's got an established safety net in Edelman to throw to.
Yeah, I mean they got a solid. They got well. We know the defense hasn't changed much in that.
Yeah, the defense hasn't changed much. The defense you still got the best defensive back in the game. Really, you've got everything. You've got great linebacker core. You've got solid defensive linemen.
Yes. Yeah, I could totally see them. Definitely.
I could see them getting 12 wins. I don't think they're not gonna blow people out, but you know they could eke out the wins.
Yeah, I definitely see between like 10 and 12. I'm leaning more towards 10 because I figure
Growing pains.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, he's got to get used to the offense. He's got to get used to throwing to these guys. They got to get used to catching from him. You know, because he's got a totally different arm from
That's true.
from Brady. I mean, even with after the surgery, he's
got
still got a cannon.
Yeah. Cam has
So,
a freaking cannon. Yeah.
I play receiver, so I know it's different catching from different people. But yeah, he's definitely got everybody's got to learn each other, right? He's got to learn the systems. He's got to learn the offense. He's got to learn, even Belichick's coaching style is different.
Yeah.
So it's a lot to get through, and it's gonna take a couple games to get there. Even we don't even know if they're gonna have a preseason.
True. Yeah, we don't.
We
don't know
right
what's
now.
going to happen. That's true.
Right?
So you're saying 10-6. I'm saying 12-4. So I guess the official Jeek Nation prediction will be the middle. We'll just say 11-5. 11-5 is what we think New England will do with Cam Newton at quarterback. Speaking of continuing on this trend of new people. In the world of comic books, we've got a new addition to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle family. It's been growing very similar to the Bat family. Keeps adding people. TMNT has added a new member of what's now the Splinter Clan. So if you're not caught up with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in the comics, Splinter is dead. I'm sorry to break it like that. Splinter's dead, y'all.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
Where's my...
Splinter's dead.
I need a sound for that.
Yeah. We do need something. We need a sound effect for that. Splinter died back in TMNT issue number 101. And I'm not going to kill the entire story, but essentially there is a... so the turtles aren't the only mutant animals out there, in case you haven't been following. And there is a snow fox named Alopex, and this snow fox, she and Raphael met up as there's a whole mutant animal, area where they live, kind of similar to X-Men with Genosha type situation. And Alopex was a Foot Clan assassin before, but she got turned and she's good and became an ally, and then she and Raphael became more than allies. So you have some turtle, snow fox. I don't even know how that's supposed to work.
Crossbreed.
Yeah. I'm like, what? Okay, mutant turtles and mutant snow foxes. Well, whatever works. So they are, they have an intimate moment. But post Splinter's death, the turtles let Splinter's clan officially die with him. They form a new clan called the Splinter Clan, and the 5 of them. Yes, there are 5 turtles now. There's a girl turtle, if you don't know. Yep. And Alopex gets her own mask and is officially a part of the Splinter Clan. I say all that to ask you, is TMNT going a bit too far on the Batman? Let's add all of our let's add all these ex-villains to our group of trusted allies, and it just seems like we've seen this dance before.
Oh, we definitely have. We definitely have. It does feel that way. It definitely feels that way. Like
Especially because it's a love interest too. Like we had that with Catwoman.
right.
You know,
It's not just like it's just like a new member, but like now you're starting a whole romance and crossbreed
yeah, it's just
weirdness that is
yeah,
whatever this is.
turtle, snow, fox, sex. It's the weirdest thing I've had to think about.
But yeah, it's definitely it feels like it's going the way of the Batman. It's just with let's just add whoever we can add. At this point, I don't know. It doesn't feel interesting. It feels kind of like I guess it's like you said because we've been down this road before. Feels just kind of like Hollywood, right? Like they just what's the easiest way out,
right?
That we could get a couple more episodes out of this one, a couple more issues and all that stuff, and toys.
Yeah, and it's like to me, it's like we've seen Batman do this, so it's like it should be a firm warning. Hey, let's not do this. It will be having them have a romance. Cool, okay. Having even her be an ally, okay. But officially making her part of the clan, giving her the mask and all that, that to me is like that's where it goes too much into the Batman territory because they did it with Catwoman, they did it with essentially Cassandra Cain becoming Batwoman, Clayface even a part of the Bat family now. It's like bro, like where does it stop? So you cease to be interesting when it's such a predictable path. Casey Jones was an ally of theirs, but he was never like an official part of the team.
Which he should have been, if anybody.
If anybody, yeah, he should have been. Yeah, I think they killed him off. If my memory serves me correctly, but he was never a part of the team. A cool ally. Have her be. Raph's a strange girl. She's out there. She's doing her own thing. She knows she don't fit in. She's a snow fox, for goodness sake. She don't fit in with 5 turtles. Like
what? That makes for a better story too. I mean, just talking about it.
Yeah, and especially if you want to, use the comic to deal with, relationship things, long distance drama, interspecies drama, and as a reflection on real life. Like, there's so much more you can do with that story than saying, "Hey, join the cute little club."
Right.
And
yeah, they definitely could have did something else. They could have, like I like that as a better story, right? Kind of like the forbidden love, drama.
Yeah, exactly.
Whatever,
Because
like,
have Leo be a jerk about it. Like, man, I don't want you seeing her.
Right.
She's
all the brothers hate her.
Yeah,
none of them want anything to do with her. She used to be a villain.
Mikey's too cool to hate, so Mikey would be like the only one for it. But the sister hates her. Donnie and Leonardo, they hate her, and Mike's like, man, I just want everybody to be cool and just have pizza and chill, and Ralph just angry because he's angry, and he's like, I just want to see my girl.
I just make him more angry.
Right, it's make him more angry. And honestly, when he goes solo, when he goes on his rampages, people lose their minds whenever he does that. So it gives you more of the preferred Raph anyway.
Right.
And honestly, it would probably be like they did. I don't know. Set spoilers. I'm not gonna go too far into the story leading up to it, but like it just. There's the Batman familiarity to it is just where by adding her as officially is where I'm like, you could have done so much more with this. You know,
Yeah.
you could have stayed unique, or not even just not necessarily unique, but you could have stayed different from following a path that we've seen so recently. It would be one thing if it had been 10 years since Batman was doing this. Like Batman was just doing this, you
Right.
know, in their books. So it's like this is just way too soon to be emulating that in that way to me. You know,
Right. Yeah. Who's writing it now?
who's writing?
I wonder if it's
Um,
a recycle writer, if I can use it in that terms.
I'm not sure who's. I mean, I'm still IDW. Um, Sophie Campbell. Sophie Campbell's writing TMNT right now. So, I mean, and she's the one who created the Jenica character and all that.
Right.
So,
Yeah, I don't know.
I
I
don't
mean,
know.
I'm not crazy about it. I've been on and off with the TMNT comics for a while, just because of that. It's like so it gets good and then it gets stale and then it gets good again and then
It's
it gets
stale, yeah.
kind of stale. It goes back and forth. So I jump in and out with it. Like I haven't been consistent. Like even with my subscriptions, from things from another world. Yeah, I just kind of took it off my subscription list. And,
you took it off your pull list? Wow.
Yeah, you know, I like I said, I throw it back on, or like I'll just cop a back issue when they're like, prices. They're not retail anymore. They're like,
Or he goes on, read goes on, and he reads it. Well, we're not going to talk about that because we support our local comic book stores.
yes.
We believe in that.
Yeah. So yeah, I usually there's actually there's two comic book stores by my house that I go to. Well, I used to go to before all this coronavirus stuff, but
when they open,
yeah.
we're going to be in there.
Yeah. Usually I'll go there and like I'll catch it on a back issue sale or something like that. But just because like I'm just like I don't want to pay. What is it now? $4 or something like that for it. And I'm not even, it's not even entertaining anymore.
Yeah, no one wants to pay full price for something that is just lackluster. And yeah, and Campbell hasn't had the run for long, but
Yeah, so I mean, I'll give her a chance, right?
Yeah.
Like, give her some time to pick up some speed, get wherever she's trying to go. But yeah, for now, I'll put it on the shelf.
and also like, I was like really ready to be like super critical because I'm like, but I think about it, and even though the Turtles have been around for a while, I mean they've been around since the '80s. They're not like the X-Men who've been around, since like the early '70s, or they're not like the Avengers who've been around since the '60s. Like they're still relatively young in the comic book world as characters.
Yeah. And there's still a lot that hasn't been done.
True.
With them.
Yeah. And there's
a
whole lot of different things they could do with them.
Because a lot of their stuff has just kind of been rehashes of the same story over and over again.
Yeah.
Turtles
and getting rid of
lost
all
in the sewer.
and getting rid of so much of the Foot Clan stuff. It's like, okay, they've been fighting this Foot Clan forever, and you need something different. So like going a different direction is cool. But just to me, harping on, hey, we're building this new clan, just seems weird. But however, like again, I'm just going on what I've seen so far. They could be trying to make this new clan a big part of the mutant animal population in New York that they're taking care of, and like it, they could add in a mutant chipmunk or something soon. Like we don't know what the future holds as far as how the clan's going to impact the mutant community and all that. So like it's
Right.
kind of like how essentially everybody were becoming X-Men, and then they kept on. Then we got 8 million X teams.
Right.
And that would to me would be cool. Like, okay, if you've got the main team, but you start splintering off into other teams, for you have I don't know what they would call it, but I think it would really be cool if the main turtles split and they each led their own squad. And they only came together for like really really big things.
World events.
Yeah,
almost like a Avengers kind of thing.
yeah.
That'd be kind of cool to see.
Because Raph would be more of the angry Wolverine type on
Renegade type,
like
yeah.
X-Force became the Kill Squad.
Right.
Leo would be the honorable one, leading the honorable public face squad, and Mikey would be more like on the New Warriors. Being young goofy guys.
Right.
Donatello would be doing geeky stuff with geeky heroes. Like, you could do all that and tell stories of them, develop them more as characters. Leonardo doesn't always have to be the leader. Raph doesn't always have to be the angry, super angry one. He could recruit some other angry dudes, and he realized he's not the most angry one.
Or you could just realize he's been a jerk all this time.
Right, and he'd be like, man,
his...
I was that big of a jerk to my brothers? Wow. Okay, now I get it.
Now I get it.
Like stuff like but it developed them as leaders more, developed them as, I don't want to call it as just as characters. Could flesh out more, as they have more responsibility. Their personalities can be changed in other ways. Donnie can all of a sudden start to show a ruthless side, and you can start seeing some compassion out of Leonardo. Like, this is so much you could do by doing something like that, by splitting them up for a little bit or whatever. And then, of course, make more money because you're selling more books.
Right. And toys.
And toys, yes. And toys. So next topic, we are bringing back on this episode. It's been a while, but we are bringing back the ReBoot Police. Yeah. So this is Lieutenant RockinMrMagic and Sergeant UniqDNA, and
Yes.
we have pulled over another vehicle tonight. This vehicle is a Universal-owned vehicle, and I think it is possibly guilty of trying to reboot another film that doesn't need a reboot. Universal is talking about rebooting the classic, amazing film that everyone's asking for to be rebooted, Helen Hunt's Twister. Like, who in the world is going to put, forget coronavirus, forget COVID-19 concerns. Who, without that, is going to put $16 hard-earned dollars to a movie theater to sit and watch another Twister?
What would it even be about? Like, would they just totally just rehash the same story?
Like they're storm
It's
chasing.
not even really that old. I mean,
it's 24 years old.
I know, but I mean, like, it's still.
But it's storm chasing. The only thing that's changed in storm chasing is the technology level of the equipment that you use. Is that what the movie's supposed to be like? More technology? Like, are we going to have another couple that's divorced and they rekindle the love because they're, in danger of tornadoes? Because that's what we did the first time, and it was.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what like?
And no one cared the first time.
Right. Like, other reboots, you either have some kind of following, or even a cult following, right? you have some kind of culture surrounding that.
Right.
That you know, you have something that you can kind of cling on to.
You
say,
hear
like,
people
you
talking
know what,
about the
if we-
film, referencing the
Right.
film. Like,
Right.
hey, wouldn't it be great? Like, people said, hey, wouldn't it be great for another Dark Crystal? We got
Right.
another Dark Crystal.
We got another darker.
You know,
Right.
people are asking for another Pee Wee Herman movie. Okay, nobody is asking for more Twister.
Yeah, I don't know. This one just doesn't even make sense to me. This one just seems like a Hollywood is out of ideas kind of thing. You know, like they like I don't know who these writers are.
They're not writing, that's for sure.
That just keep saying like, you know what, here's a great idea. Let's just redo this movie again. Like,
yeah, it's been 24 years. Like, we can do Twister again for a new audience. Like
it reminds me of the YouTube channel. What is it? He does like movie pitches, but like, you know, like hilariously. I can't remember the name of the channel now.
I don't know that one.
Oh, they're so funny. Like he basically does them like, hey, like he'll take a movie that came out, like a Twister reboot, and like he'll do a parody on it. Like, this is what they were, you know, like this is what they were thinking about
in the writers' room,
in the boardroom.
Right.
Yeah, like it's hilarious. I gotta remember the name of the channel now. I can't remember. I'm gonna have to look it up. But yeah. Nobody asked for this. Like, nobody. I don't.
Helen Hunt's not asking for this. You know, I mean, Kari Uls isn't asking for this. You know, no one who was, you know, well, the other ones are, you know, Philip Seymour Hoffman passed, and the other dude passed. That was in it too. Bill Paxton passed, so you can't bring those two back. Like, what is? The first one wasn't really that good to begin with. Like, the best part of the movie was flying cows. I mean, really. I mean, that was the best part of the movie, was we got to see these flying cows. This movie wasn't anything special, you know, anything that anyone really was like, oh wow, man, I gotta buy Twister on VHS, man. Like, I gotta make sure I get that copy, because I sure enjoy watching these storm chasers, you know, argue about who's in love with who, and you know, they're about to get a divorce, and you know, all that really poorly manufactured tension that they had going on, like. And then somehow they had to incorporate the, you know, his new, Bill Paxton's character's new storm chasing, you know, technology he was developing. You know, it's like, come on, man. Like, nah, this first movie didn't work that much. Like, come on, it didn't make no sense.
None at all.
So I'm like, who? And if they say, okay, it's for a new audience, really, you're gonna really somehow make storm chasing interesting to Gen Z? You really think Gen Z cares about storm chasing?
Yeah, they don't care.
They do not care. Like, I think Gen Z would be, if they're gonna start an older trend of films that I think, you know, would appeal to Gen Z. They need to go back to the '80s trend of space films, because they haven't done that in a while.
Right.
Space films, but the success of like Interstellar, the other one where it was what's his name, with Clooney and Sandra Bullock. I forget what it's called. You know,
Me too.
the success of The Martian. Like, go back to where there's still so much unknown. There's still so much mystery. Go back to space movies. I think Gen Z would be into those. I do not think Gen Z cares about storm chasing in any way, shape, form, or fashion. Gen Y didn't care about storm chasing. Gen X didn't care about storm chasing.
Yeah, I mean, you got a small market there. Oh, Gravity. It just came to me.
Gravity, that's right. My parents, being baby boomers, only cared about storm chasing because my mom was a Helen Hunt fan. Like that was the only reason why I think you were either a Helen Hunt fan or you were a Bill Paxton fan to even watch that movie. You did not care about storm chasing, and half the time the science was wrong. So it's not like
all of it, most of it was wrong.
So it's not like you were going for the scientifically accurate movie either.
And trying to try pitching that to Gen Z.
Yeah, you can. You ain't gonna be pitching no scientifically inaccurate wrong movie.
They'll be in the movie theater like this is wrong.
They would
Googling everything.
Would roast the mess out that movie. They'd be like, "Why is he driving so close? You can't outrun that twister. Not
physics don't even work that way.
He's in a Ford pickup truck. He can't outrun that." Like no, they would have whipped out their phones, they Siri'd it up, done the math on the calculators. They'd be like, they're all dead. Everybody's dead.
Yeah, I find it very hard for them to make this interesting. I don't know about this one. Actually, I do know about this one. It's a terrible idea.
Okay. Which is why we pulled it over, and we have to issue a ticket on this one.
I'm impounding it.
Oh yeah, that's right. You're right. I agree. Ticket's too good for. We are going to impound Twister, lock it up, and you'd have to pay a whole lot of money to get that sucker out. It needs to stay there. It needs to stay where it's been. It needs to be done with. Let it
I'm impounding it on a Friday on a holiday weekend. Too.
Right. You ain't
so
getting that joint back.
Got a chance to.
You ain't getting that joint back till Tuesday.
Right. You can't even get your stuff out until Tuesday.
That's right.
Hope you don't got nothing important in there because you're not getting it.
You ain't getting it. All right. To a much more fun topic. So we don't talk much about travel here on this podcast, but UniqDNA and I both love the travel. We know we got some traveling Jeeks in the group.
Yes,
so I saw this on a video recently, and it piqued my curiosity, especially because I saw it in a country that I would love to travel to, being Thailand. The rise of capsule hotels. Would you feel comfortable enough to stay in a capsule hotel? Now, for you Jeeks listening, if you're not familiar, a capsule hotel essentially is a hotel where you check in. It's extremely affordable. On average, essentially between like $8 and $20 US. So let's say like $14 a night on average. So obviously very affordable.
Yeah.
But the affordability means that you are losing a whole lot of amenities. You have shared bathrooms, you limited amount of space as far as storage, and essentially you're sleeping in a slab, a capsule. You're sleeping in pretty much a mortuary slab that is a little bit bigger, maybe double the size of a mortuary slab. So that's what you're sleeping in, and then and they're designed for one night. So if you have to stay another night, you're going to recheck in, but it's affordable, and if you're traveling solo, it's a really affordable way to stay.
Yeah.
But obviously, sharing a bathroom is not the most comfortable thing for a lot of people. And not having an actual room is different for a lot of people, too.
But you know what? I look at it like hostels. It's like, hostels are kind of the same.
Yeah, but the hostels actually, you have a room, though. Like, you walk in.
Well, some of them you're kind of, depending on what country you're in and stuff like that, you're in a shared space.
Yeah, but it's still an actual physical room. Like, you walk into the room and you get on your bunk bed. You're not getting into a slab. You're not climbing into something.
To be honest, though, like, I'm surprised that it took this long Because like we've been seeing this in all the like sci-fi movies for years.
That's true. We have been seeing this in sci-fi for a long time.
Like, if for anybody that's listening, if you just Google Capsule Hotel, you'll know exactly what we're talking about. Like we've seen this, and
we've seen this in Star Trek. We've seen this in sci-fi for a long time.
Fifth Element.
Fifth Element, yeah. Very Fifth Element, yeah.
What's the other one? They were in a capsule hotel. Oh, not a capsule hotel, but I remember they basically like put them to sleep.
Yeah.
And they would like slide the drawer in and just like they'll wake you up when you get there.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's essentially how they, and that's essentially the interstellar travel,
right.
putting in a cryogenic type, sleep, suspended animation, type situation where you're just in a slab and you're sleeping until you get there,
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, if I'm traveling just me, or just me and the guys, yeah, I'd do it. Why not? Especially the amount of money you save, because I look at it like and obviously like you said, I travel a lot. We've traveled a lot, and I don't pay too much attention to the hotel because like when I travel, it's all about the experience outside of the hotel.
Right.
If I'm just gonna stay in my room, then I can stay home. Yeah.
True.
So like, I'm like, as long as it's clean, and I got what I need, I can take a shower and all that stuff. I know my belongings are safe, or relatively safe.
Definitely. No, let's go for safe compared to relatively safe.
Well,
we want to safe.
Okay, safe. Yeah, I'm good. Like I don't because usually like when I travel, it's like we get to the hotel, we check in, and even that day, like depending on what time, unless we get there like late at night, like that day we're in, drop our stuff off, and we're out.
Right, you're out.
Then,
looking
we're
for
not
sights.
coming. Yeah, and then we're not coming back until late. So everything's shut down, or we're just exhausted, and we're like, all right, it's time to just settle in, and then we come home, we come back to the hotel, we take a shower, hit the bed, and then we're up early the next morning, as early as we can get up, 6, 7, whatever, depending on where you're at, things start off at different times.
True.
But 7 o'clock, let's say, and hit the breakfast buffet, and then we're on our way.
Well, assuming something like this would have a breakfast buffet, but
well, yeah, I mean, obviously, like this probably wouldn't have a breakfast. Well, it might. You never know.
If they did, they'd be on the more expensive ones. I doubt it.
Well, it could be paid. You could do like I've been to some hotels where like they got a paid breakfast buffet where you gotta it's an extra $5 or whatever.
Okay.
If you want to eat at the buffet, or you can just go out on your own and eat somewhere else. I've been to some hotels like that, so they could do something like that, and that could be a draw to people, just for that extra comfort to say like, hey, we do offer breakfast. You gotta pay, but we offer breakfast. You know what I mean? Like, and some people be like, yeah, well, I'll take it. I'll pay the extra $10 or whatever. So yeah, I mean, but even if not, like even in this situation, if they didn't have it, then I'm out and I'm hitting up a diner or whatever,
right?
For breakfast, and then I'm again off to see the sights and explore and have fun. I'm not really thinking about spending any time in my room unless it's like crappy weather or something, and even then we usually go out. So I've never spent more than just eating and sleeping in my room.
Well, eating would be really hard to do in that room, though.
Right. I'm just saying that just in general,
because you're laying down pretty much.
I'm not looking for a whole lot of luxury in a hotel room. Just because I just feel like that's not what I'm here for. I'm here to explore my destination wherever I'm at.
Yeah.
And see the sights and meet people and all that type of stuff.
So
I'm not really here for.
So okay, so you're traveling with, you're traveling alone with, or let's say you and I were traveling. We're traveling in Thailand, right? We're having a Jeek excursion in Thailand, and we get there, and we've got slabs next to us, next to each other, and then somebody checks in after us, and he gets the slab above you, and all night dude just he keeps farting and just gas down, and like, and you can't, like that, like just having just having a body essentially 18 inches above me.
Yeah.
That is just like, bruh, like that's too, that's just like, I'm not worried about them falling on me, clearly, because like they have to have, the structure, it's got to be supportive, but
Right.
I ain't trying to hear somebody's late night porno sessions. I ain't trying to listen to someone's farts reverberate off the walls all night. And God forbid any smells permeate downwards. Like that's a bit much. Like,
True. I think that's the risk you take, though.
well, I mean, it's the risk you take to save that money. Like, I understand. Like, now, if it was a situation where it was more of a hostel, where you know where the two of us, or even like three, four of us, we were in in a shared space room, cool. College dorm style. Okay, I can live with that. I'm walking into an actual physical room. I'm not, in the slab that I have to have someone come open the door so I can go take a piss. Like, that is just like that. Those are the inconveniences for me. Where it's like I'd have to be like hard pressed to do it. Cause like the sleeping space, honestly, I'm not a claustrophobic person, so the space itself, lying down, whatever, and there's a little bit of arm room in there. That part was okay. It's just the small inconveniences of having someone to open the thing so I can go out. The waiting in line for the bathroom, for the shower, um, and the unfortunate situation that you could have of somebody super nasty above you, that you've got to hear whatever going on above you, and messing up your sleep, because you are sleeping, and it's you got a bed, but it, it's metal. You're sleeping in in small uh, shipping crates, essentially, like,
Yeah.
so those things can echo. They can, sound bounces. They can get loud. God forbid the person above you tosses and turns in their sleep and they're banging on the wall. Like, you ain't, not just me, but like, anyone within the radius ain't getting no sleep. So it's like, it's one of those things where it's like, I would probably pay a little more to have a somewhat normal room, or even just a more, an actual room that's a shared space. I'll pay $25 a night to be in a hostel, compared to $20 in a capsule. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, if we're talking about, the price difference is that close, then yeah, I'll probably just go with a regular room. But if we're talking about, say,
Let's say
$10,
14 a night. So 14 a night for a capsule, 20, let's say 30 for a normal hotel room, and let's say 25 for a shared space. What would you do?
Hmm. You know what? That's so low though that I probably just, yeah, I'll probably just pay for a normal room.
And I say that because, like, Thailand and stuff like that, I mean, that's what the prices would be.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, like, cause I mean, I've been to some places where it's like, a lot of, well, most places anyway. You looking, it's like $100 a night, $150 a
Right.
night, $200 a night, and you're like, what am I getting for this? Like, I'm getting a bed, a TV, a fridge with nothing in it,
Some HBO.
maybe, maybe.
Yeah, a mini fridge where if I eat anything, I have to pay for that.
Right.
And then
or like I've gone to some places where there's nothing in the fridge. It's a fridge there, but there's nothing in it.
Yeah.
It's just empty. And you gotta put your own stuff in there.
The ice machine.
Which I never use anyway.
Yeah, I have made myself use the ice machine on recent trips just because.
Really?
Well, because I would get it. I would stop and get a drink because I want to use the fridge, and I like ice in my drinks. So my drink's cold, so I will make myself use it. Make sure I'm getting the value there. But maybe a continental breakfast you're getting, maybe,
right.
And then
But you figure you go to a breakfast spot, right? I mean, you're not even paying. I ain't paying close to that.
No, and the food's better.
Yeah, usually.
And then and maybe you're paying for access to the pool.
Right.
Maybe,
which I may or may not use.
Right. Because most of the time
right.
the kids want to use it, and and if you're traveling alone, other people. If you travel, anyone that travels with kids, trying to kids, they want to go to the pool. That's the first thing kids ask.
Right.
Do they have a pool there? So
right.
that pool's gonna be full with kids, and them kids gonna be pissing in that pool. Well, you don't want to go in that pool to begin with.
Right. And I mean, all the times that I've traveled, which is a lot, we've always either went to like a water park that was nearby or
the beach.
The beach, like if especially if I'm on an island or something, or like a coastal destination, I'm just going to the beach. Like most of the unless the beach is super far, and then even then I'll probably go to the beach. Like when we were in Hawaii, the beach wasn't that close. It was far enough. The good beaches were like an hour drive, and we just drove. And we had rented a car and we just drove.
Well, you went to Maui, right?
We were in Waikiki.
Oh, you were in Oahu.
Yeah.
So you went to Waikiki Beach?
Yeah, we went. Well, we went to Waikiki Beach, but it was packed.
It's always packed. I was about to say, bro, how did you even it's always packed.
Yeah. So we went there. It was packed. Well, because we went there, we actually went to get food. And,
oh my God, it's so
all the restaurant stuff is
so expensive.
Lined up.
Yeah, lines out
so
the
we
door.
were like, so we went to this one restaurant. I forgot the name of it now, but it was like, I guess good reviews and everything. So we were like, all right, cool, we'll eat here. The line wasn't too crazy. It was like a typical wait for a restaurant, right? Like 45 minutes, something like that. But it was right on the beach, right on Waikiki Beach. So like, they put us, they sat us outside, and like you could literally like walk from your table right onto the beach, and then everything's right there. But it was packed, and I was like, yeah, I'm not doing this tomorrow, like because I think that was the first day we got there too.
Oh wow!
And I was like, yeah, tomorrow I'm not doing this. So I had some friends that have been there, so I was like, they were all telling me like, they all told me that like, don't go to Waikiki Beach, don't go to Waikiki Beach. Like go, rent a car, go to the North Shore. So much better food, more affordable, all that stuff. So I'm like, all right, cool. So that's what we ended up doing. We rented a car, and which was pretty cheap.
Yeah, it's not much.
Probably like $20 a day or something like that. And we drove up to the North Shore, and it was so much better. There was nobody there. It was like maybe 5 people. And they were all kind of like on the other side doing their own thing. We were doing, it was just me and my wife, so we were on our side. And we went swimming and all that stuff, and we spent the whole day out there. And then like they got the food trucks and all the stuff lined up all out there. So we did that for, we had that for lunch and whatever. So yeah, like I said, if I'm going to anywhere that's near a beach, I'm probably not using the pool. Right. So, and then like you said, like, and then even when I have gone to places like that were more inland, usually, because my family's big on water parks, usually it was somewhere near a water park. And so we were like, we were going to the water park anyway. So it's like, you don't need the pool. So yeah, the only time I've actually, that I can say I've actually stayed in the hotel or the resort and used the pool was my mother-in-law had a timeshare in Las Vegas.
Okay.
And we stayed. Because it was a timeshare, so we were there for like, I think we were there for like 4 or 5 days.
Yeah, they're generally there for about a week. Yeah.
Yeah. So we that time we actually used the pool, but
Yeah, good luck. Good luck finding water anywhere else.
yeah, right. It's Las Vegas. Like, where are you gonna go? And plus, like, I like this. Like, I'm a swimmer. Like, I'm not just like, I don't, just wade on the little 3 feet. Like, I like to go deep. And like, most of these hotel pools are like 4 feet.
Understandably so, because they don't want nobody drowning.
I mean, I understand it for safety. Yeah, I understand it for safety and stuff. But for me, I'm like, this is like, I'm 6'3". Like, this
ain't working.
Yeah, like, I can't even really get wet fully,
Yep.
without bumping my head or something. So, so for me, it's always been like, we hit the beach or we hit, a water park or somewhere where I could really enjoy the water, But yeah.
Now Hawaii, I'll stay at the Capsule Hotel to stay in Hawaii just to save that money.
That's because it's so expensive.
It's so expensive. Oh my god! Especially since you went to Oahu. I was trying to tell you, stay on the Big Island or Maui, man. It's cheaper and so much better. Oahu's so expensive.
We were trying to do.
I digress.
We were trying to do Maui.
Maui's so dope.
Yeah. I wanted to do Maui, but I just didn't have enough time. I was only there for 4 days. And so,
like when I went, we mainly stayed on the Big Island. We spent 2 days. We spent 3 days in the Big Island, 2 days in Maui, and we spent the last day on Oahu because, like, tourists. You gotta go to the tourist spot. But the Big Island, I really wouldn't go back. Like, if I going back, whenever I go back again, Lord knows, I hope it's soon. I would spend most of my time in Maui. Because the Big Island was nice and like quiet and get away, but that's where most people live. So a lot of the I don't want to say Native Hawaiians since they're citizens. It's like it's a foreign country, but the residents and not people who live there, they're not tourists. They weren't the most friendly to just seeing the whole to tourists. So it was like I got an attitude at Burger King of all places. So it was like and that was an expensive Burger King visit, but so like I would definitely stay. Like, Maui's a great blend of a lot of tourist stuff, friendly towards the tourists, and the dole plantations there. And getting that fresh pineapple. It's so
my gosh.
good. And we went deep sea fishing off of Maui. Just so amazing. Like, Maui's the spot. Oahu's cool to be there for a bit, but like I really wouldn't want to spend more than a day there because, like you said, you saw Waikiki Beach. You can't have fun on that beach. It'd be like
that's why, like, I was like, man, we drove to the North Shore, and I was like, you know what, we did a lot. We went to of course we went to Pearl Harbor.
Gotta do that. I did that too.
Gotta do a lot of stuff. We did the Dole Plantation. We did the Dole Plantation like 5 times because, like,
so good though.
Yeah, like the first day I woke up, and I was telling my wife about it because, like I said, I had people that that were kind of giving me tips and telling me what to do and stuff. So I was like, we gotta go to Dole Plantation. She's like, all right, let's go. So we went, and it was cool and everything. And then we bought the fresh pineapple and the ice cream, and I was just like, oh God.
It sounds so good, man.
So it was funny because we went for my birthday. So the next day, was it the next day? Yeah, the next day I think was my birthday, and I was like, she was like, "What you want to do for breakfast?" And I'm like, "I want to go back and get the ice cream." I want the ice cream for breakfast, lunch.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it was so good. And then, but yeah, we did that like 4 or 5 times. Like, we just went back and forth. Every time we would pass it, we were just like, let's stop here and get some ice cream, or go get this some pineapple or something. They got like everything in there.
Oh yeah, everything. Did you hit a luau at all when you were there?
No, you know what? They were all sold out.
You didn't go to a luau at all.
I know. I was,
bruh.
Which I was so upset because I wanted some I wanted some roasted pig,
so good,
and all that stuff. Yeah, just all the local foods and stuff. But everywhere we called was like, oh yeah, we're all booked up. And I was like, seriously, everybody's booked up. And they were all booked up. And then there was like one that was open, but they wanted like some crazy amount of money to get in. And I was like, nah, I'm not doing that. Like, if it was $40, $50 maybe, but it was like in the hundreds. We were like,
no, man, no way.
We're like, no wonder y'all don't have no bookings.
Like I remember, I mean, granted, this was 20 years ago, but I think I paid $35 to get in.
Yeah,
that's the luau that I went to.
Decent price.
It was a good, but the thing is, like, I didn't feel like it was. I felt it was too much at first. I'm 18 years old. I'm paying all this money,
right.
But you're there. I mean, you're there for a long time. Luau's last a long time. You've got the live entertainment there. You've got the hula dancers. You've got the fire eaters and dancers, and then you've got so much food. It's just you've got food for like feels like miles. On the long tables, you've got you can see the pigs in the ground. Like 2-3 pigs cooking.
Right.
And it's such a good time. Like and you're there for like. We went to 2, and the one like the really really good one. I want to say we were there for like 6 hours, and it did not. But it did not feel like we were there for 6 hours, because you get there and it's evening, and you leave, and it's almost midnight. So you get there and it's like 6 o'clock, 5, 6 o'clock. You get there for dinner, but you have to wait till it's dark for all the entertainment stuff anyway. So you're there and you're talking, you're eating, and you're meeting people at the resort. Either it's just a resort you're staying at, or figure it's at a resort that you're not staying at, and you're meeting these people, and everyone's so friendly, and you're talking, and you're just grubbing. And then all of a sudden it's night, and you're seeing all this cool stuff, and they're pulling up tourists up there to hula dance who've never hula danced a day in their life, which was, and when we went with family friends, so my parents, I paid for myself, my boy Corey paid for himself, and his sister Janine, she paid for herself, and we've been family friends, like they're my parents and their parents, they were friends before we were born. Like we've been friends forever.
Right.
So, so their dad, Anthony, he's really nice, really quiet, introverted dude, and they pulled him on stage to dance with the hula dancers, and it was so funny. And he had a great time. It was one of those things, like one of those times like you'll never forget when you have because their luau's are just so fun, and you're talking, you're laughing with these people that you met 3 hours ago, like they're old friends. Just a super cool experience. Like you've got to make sure you hit at least 2 next time you're in Hawaii, man. Like
we're definitely going to go back. I just don't know when. Now we got wait for the kids to get a little older, because that's a long
man. You say Gramps and Grandma, I need you to watch these kids, cause we going back to Hawaii. Cause man, you don't want to wait till to have to take. You don't want to have to pay to fly kids out to Hawaii too. You know that, man. Come on.
Yeah, I know, but well, me.
Well, yeah, that's right. You got to worry about that. You ain't gonna pay nothing. You got to worry about that. But I would definitely stay at a Capsule for sure. Because it's Hawaii. That's because, like you said, you're getting up and you're not staying there. You're not worried about what's going on there.
Yeah.
You're going out. You're hitting the beach. You're going to the stores. You're going to the plantation. You're going fishing. You're going out to see all them sights. You're going up the volcano. Like, You know,
Right.
yeah, we.
Oh yeah, we did that too.
Which one?
We did Diamond Head.
Okay. Yeah, like it's like there's so much to do there. You know, going on. We went horseback riding on the trails, and I saw Karl Malone there, and it was hilarious because they wouldn't let him ride the horse. He weighed too much. Like it's like there's so much stuff to do. Like I got tired out, and plus like you know, I have insomnia to begin with, but the time difference had me up anyway. Cause he was 6 hours behind, so
yeah. The same thing with me. I was up at like 3.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm like, let's go outside. Wait.
Like, but it was dope because, that's what was dope about Maui the time we were there, because there was stuff I could do. So I would go out and like everyone else sleeping, I'm like I can't sleep, so I would just go out. I went to the Hard Rock Cafe and just at there and just chilled out and had fun and stuff. The stuff was still open.
Yeah.
But
see, that's cool. That's why I want to go. I mean, there's a lot of reasons why I wanted to go to Maui. The black sand beaches and volcanoes and there's a whole lot that I wanted to do, but
limited time.
Yeah, we just didn't have the time.
Limited time. There's only so much. And there's so much to do. Like you could fit so much in that time when you're there.
Oh yeah.
Because there's so many different things to do on them tiny little islands. Right. It's amazing.
Yeah.
All right, before we talk all night about travel,
about Maui
and
Hawaii,
the gorgeous of Maui.
Yeah, because I could talk about that all
we
day.
could talk travel all day long. We are going to transition into our main event, our main topic of the night. This topic was brought up actually a long time ago by community member Mike Matthews. So pickups to Mike. Shout out for that. It's a very interesting topic. So we're going to talk about 3 characters who are pretty popular in pop culture. And what's cool about these characters is that there is an awareness of disabled characters in pop culture, and that there's been a bias against them for a long time. They really haven't been a ton of inclusion or spotlighting, at least, of disabled characters. So we're going to talk about a few. And not that there haven't been any, because that would just be silly. There's been characters like Ironside, Geordi LaForge, and Star Trek, Oracle, and Batman, but they're not. They really were never major players. They're even though Ironside led the show, show didn't last long. LaForge is a side, second level sidekick. He's not even main sidekick level. And Oracle took a back seat, after the Killing Joke. So we are going to look at 3 characters here. We're going to look at Dr. Julius Snow from the Bond series. We're going to look at Tyrion Lannister, everyone's favorite dwarf, and Daredevil. So we've got 3 people who have obviously varied disabilities. Daredevil with his blindness, Tyrion with his dwarfism, and Dr. No actually has a really... He's one of the really, I never realized watching the movies, how well they really depicted his conditions. So he has, he's got those, he's got the pincers on his hands, So with Dr. No, he's got a condition that's really hard to pronounce, and I was an English major, so I'm going to do my best to pronounce this. He's got a condition called he was born with dextrocardia, so which means essentially that his heart is on the right side of his body and not the left. Okay. And that causes other issues physically. And then during his life, he got his hands cut off. So he has those pincers. So my man's got pincer hands. His heart's on the left side, which causes on the right side, not the left side, which causes other physiological issues. But the character's history and its backstory is amazing on what he was able to accomplish, the education he's able to get, and obviously build this massive empire to obviously get foiled by James Bond.
Right.
So I'm thinking, as I think about Dr. No specifically, why is it that like all of the cool scientist minds are always the bad guy?
I don't know.
Like they're never like the dude who gets his hands cut off and he uses his genius to create mechanical hands that allow him to be even more, have more dexterity than he had before. They're always the one who wants to blow up the world.
I think it's because they're mad at the world. I think also too, with that level of intelligence, it's almost like it reminds me of like Joker, right? Like they see the world differently. They see the world for what it really is, and so where it's like the it's like the Matrix theory in a sense, right? Like they're the only ones that really see the world for what it is, and all the evil and the negativity and the whatever else that's involved with that. And so I think because of that, and then also because of things like whether it be physical or psychological trauma, they're also they have that, right? So whatever that is,
which he clearly had,
right? So it's like, hey, I also got this physical, in his case, physical trauma, that just makes me angry because, like, you get the why me syndrome, right? Like, why did it have to be me?
Yeah.
And then seeing the world for what it is, like, of course it was me, like, of course this happened to me because I see the world for what it really is.
Right.
Because I see the world, I see the truth. Of course, the world would try to destroy me in some way or something, or hinder me or whatever. And so I'm going to take over the world and blow it up. I don't know. That's my theory on it. I always thought that, like, the evil geniuses were always just people that they saw the world for, for what they think is reality.
And if someone would have given them a hug, like, they probably wouldn't have become evil geniuses.
Right. Their hearts would have grown 3 sizes that day.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I mean, and for those who don't know, Dr. No's backstory is essentially, I mean, he's half German, half Chinese, even though the actor in the film looks nothing like he's Chinese. But in the novel, half German, half Chinese, guy who lost his hands, made some bionic ones, and got super rich, with some stolen gold. Like,
Right.
I totally dig what you're saying there. I guess it's I think that it's sometimes just too limiting with that those people always and it's not that they probably wouldn't become evil geniuses, but sometimes they're not reality wise. We would probably be a little bit more sympathetic to those evil geniuses to a certain extent, um, because if it happened in real life, they probably wouldn't be trying to blow up the world, but more like blow up who harmed them than the world. And we would see the pain that they were exposed to, what happened to them, and be like, okay, well, I can't condone blowing up the building because you could have hurt some people that didn't deserve it. But I understand. They cut your hands off, bruh. You know, they abused you. They did this to you. Like, okay, I understand why you want revenge. And plus the rejection because, kind of like in what was it, Die Hard 4, where he goes the bad guy Gabriel goes to the Joint Chiefs and like, hey, our system can be compromised. Check it out. And here I hacked the system. Then they're like, oh, we're gonna kill you. Stop it. And they didn't fix what he said was broken. Dr. No's story is very similar. He went to governments and said, hey, I can help you. I can do it. And they're like, nah, we don't need you. Nah, we don't need you. You get told enough, know enough by people that you can really help. And you're like, okay, well, I'll show you how much you do need me. That constant rejection,
Yeah, and I can see that too, like being rejected, because most of them have been scorned by the world in some way. So yeah, I can definitely see that too.
But
as part
that's what to me makes Tyrion Lannister so awesome, is that everybody mainly rejects him and scorns him, except for a select few characters, and he still does the right thing for the realm.
Yeah, but I think that's, in his case, I think it's because he realizes that more or less it's not his fault. Everybody, like, especially his family.
His family's trash, but
they all blamed him for his mother's death and all that stuff. So I think he realized, like, hey, look, I didn't ask for any of this. It's not my fault. I didn't, for lack of a better term, I didn't ask to be born.
Right.
And so, like, basically, screw all you guys. My true family is the realm, right? Like, the realm is the only one that haven't necessarily scored. Because if you look at the connections that he made with people, it was people from, outside of the royal sort of hierarchies, right? Everyone in any type of royal status or noble status scorned him.
Oh, yeah.
The Starks scorned him. The Starks hated him just because he was a Lannister, and
everyone calling him imp and everything. Yeah.
Right. But then, like his quote unquote friends were, none of them were noble born.
Yeah.
Well, except for what's his name? But he was exiled. So it was like, all his close friends were all just, the common folk. So it's almost like, hey, these people, they accepted me when nobody else would. And so I'm gonna do what's best, more or less, to shorten it. They gave him a hug.
Yeah, I see what you're saying here.
Whereas the noble and the highborn, none of
most
them
of them, and he still treated them well when they didn't.
Which that is a credit just to his character.
And then he ended up having more allies, in them because of how he responded. How well he treated Jon Snow, how well he treated Sansa. Without those, alliances he made, he would have been in a much more difficult position.
Yeah.
Trying to navigate.
Yeah. Also, I think he was just really smart, and he understood true politics. Even just him aligning himself with Daenerys, that was him understanding that, listen, nobody else can stand up to her. Nobody else is gonna, like, you're not gonna win against her, right? And like, her only enemy really is herself, which we find out in the end. At least
TV ad. Still mad about that.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see what happens in the end of the
book.
book.
George, you're gonna be writing right now, bro.
Yeah, I know. We've been waiting too long for this. but you know, like she became her own enemy, right? Like if she would have just, which I mean, that's still pissing me off that we went down the Mad Queen route, but
Yeah.
if she learned from her past rather than repeat it, um, she you know, she'd be queen of the realm, you know. Um,
But smashing her
but
nephew, which is
yeah, among other things.
yeah, which is just, yeah.
We won't rip that band-aid off just yet.
I like, but you make a
Though.
great point. Like he understood politics and he used his mind, to his benefit. And I still, his, his, a mind needs books the way, a sword needs a whetstone line is still one of the best lines in television and
Yeah.
recent
Yeah.
history. And it proves true throughout the entire series. Though pretty much the ones who knew the most were the ones really running the game. Littlefinger,
Right.
Varys, Tyrion. Those were the ones who were really running things. And
Yeah.
controlling things. They're the ones who knew the most. And being able to have a sharp mind, a quick mind. The way he saved the city, like, if you had told me 6 years ago that everyone's favorite character out of Game of Thrones would have been Tyrion Lannister, I would have been like, no, I've read the books, like I like him, but like, people who have read the books were more on, Jon Snow, Daenerys, and such. Like,
Right. Right.
Tyrion's up there, but was never people's favorite. But for him to come out of this being like the consensus like favorite character of most of everybody is like a credit to Peter Dinklage's acting, but also just the dopeness of the character, and being able to see it fleshed out. You know, because man, most of the time we look at dwarf characters are always this cutesy, fun characters that get ignored.
Yeah, or just complete imbeciles.
Right.
And
But they're like,
make them doofy.
I mean, Webster, Gary Coleman in Different Strokes, like,
Yeah.
they're not given that level of serious respect. Yeah, that and even though he was disrespected, people in high, places gave him respect. Hand of the Queen and
Yeah, I mean, he ended up becoming
master of this,
Yeah.
and he proved his worth time and time again. So it's
Yeah.
that part is just super dope because we never really get to see that in popular culture.
Right.
And then we've got Daredevil, who I think half the time people forget that he's got a disability, like that. I guess the superpowers can obviously kind of make up for it. With the whole echolocation thing, but
Yeah.
it's still something the man's got to deal with. Like it's blindness is easy just to overcome, just because he can echolocate things. You
Right.
know,
And even that took time to develop. Like it wasn't like like he went blind and then all of a sudden woke up and like, yeah, I got these superpowers where I can, do echolocation.
well, I mean, he did, but like but he had to get trained. Like he needed help.
Right, he had to train it, is what I'm saying. Like, I mean, yeah, so let me rephrase that. He did wake up with superpowers, but he didn't know how to use them, if that makes sense. How to use them properly, anyway. So yeah, I definitely think people forget, and I think it's one of those things. It reminds me of and we just posted it. Well, you posted it recently, of the Shaq and Stevie Wonder thing, where Shaq went to Stevie Wonder's house and Stevie Wonder opened the door. And he's like, "Oh yeah, come on in, Shaq." And like Shaq didn't even say a word yet, or anything. Like, he was just like, yo, I don't even know if this dude is really blind. Like, I think he's playing a long game, you know? Like,
Yep.
yeah, it kind of reminds me of that, like how, you know, real life, we talk about, you know, real life people with disabilities, how they're able to develop these quote unquote superpowers.
Yeah.
Based, you know, in spite of their challenges and disabilities, you know. I know that's a term that they don't even like to use anymore.
True.
It's more of a, you know, what do they say? Ably challenged.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like it's a testament to just the human spirit, just to be able to overcome challenges um, and sometimes even come out better than the people who are
Quote unquote normal.
quote unquote.
Right.
You're right.
What's
just to
really
be able to
cool
say,
for me
hey.
with Daredevil is like before the show, because the movie did it no justice. We all know that the movie was
the movie was
trash.
terrible.
But before the show, in my opinion, most people looked at Daredevil as probably a C-list character. You know, an afterthought. You know, you had seen him, appear here and there in Spider-Man, or you know he was an Avenger for a little bit, and but nobody, and I give Netflix credit for making what 5 shows essentially. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, 6 shows,
You had
but obviously Defenders being around 4 of them, but making 6 shows around non-A-list characters, and they took Daredevil and essentially made him an A-list character when he was a C-list character.
yeah, yeah,
You know,
yeah.
you took some like the fact that they made a Daredevil show. I was just like, cool. 'Cause I've always been a fan of the character, but I was like, really? Were people asking for a Daredevil show? Like, I don't know anybody that was asking for that. You know,
Nah, I definitely wanted to see a movie.
a better
Um,
movie. Yeah.
yeah, a better movie. Just because I always thought he was a cool character, just you know, by way of he's a blind dude that just is like, you know, a superhero. Um, and a lot of the stuff that, I mean, Netflix did a great job of it, but a lot of stuff that gets left out, you know, stuff that's in the comics but you don't see necessarily on screen. I was like, man, there's so much that he could, you know, use, and that can tell a good story because of him being blind, and you know, even just his everyday life as a lawyer.
Yeah.
And then you turn it and you flip it to the crime fighting side, and you know, just all that stuff.
Well, I thought, like you mentioned, like wanting to see it, and I think most comic book fans of it wanted to see like a one-off. Like we wanted to see like, hey, give us a good movie, and yeah.
Right, that's what I said, like a good movie. I never thought.
But
About
yeah, we
series.
weren't thinking series. We weren't thinking what what we got was so much better than what even probably the biggest Daredevil fans were even anticipating. You know, we got something that was truly became like a special show that people still want more of. Like when these rights
Yeah,
you know come back to Marvel, people are like, hey, are we gonna get Daredevil back? Like, what's going on? You know,
yeah,
and that to me is super cool on how it to me speaks to where where society has progressed amongst the the popular culture consumers, where we're no longer looking at these disabled characters as charity cases, or isn't that nice, type of treatment with them, but they're being respected, they're being treated, with the proper respect that they deserve as, as characters, which makes, you know, I would think, people who have to deal with those, various challenges in life. Like you mentioned, Stevie Wonder, like that dude blows me away, and he plays like 800 different instruments. You know, half the time I can't believe that he can't see, because I'm like, how are you gonna learn all these instruments and you can't see none of them? Like there's genius and there's like, bruh. I saw a video you trying to shoot a jump shot, and you came way too close to making that jump. Like, but it's like, wow, like, okay, finally, we're treating these people, as they deserve, as functional, contributory members of society, and not these, afterthoughts. It's like, oh, well, yeah, let's remember this one because they're a special case. Like, no, they're still exceptional people. They're still deserving of our respect.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Like I agree. Like I think, just people just don't. I think sometimes because they're so good at overcoming those challenges, we forget.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I forgot that that you can't do certain things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's like your friend. You got your best friend that's in a wheelchair, and then you totally forget one day, and you guys are just walking, and you're like walking up the steps, and you're just like, hey, where'd you go? And it's like, oh, wait, I forgot. We got to take the elevator.
Yeah.
Like you totally forget, because it's just like, it almost like it disappears because they're so good at, number one, they're so good at like overcoming the
day-to-day obstacles.
Poor me.
Yeah.
The poor me. I'm such a, disabled whatever, that a lot of times like they just own it, and they're just like, they are who they are, and the wheelchair doesn't define me, the crutches don't define me, the cane or the seeing eye dog or whatever don't define me. It's like, I am who I am. And so once people kind of get past that initial shock and they get to know the person and they see all the stuff that you overcome, it's like I'm having a hard time believing that you're blind.
Yeah, it's like,
or I'm having a hard time believing that
I mean, it's in my own house. I mean, I'm raising a child, with cerebral palsy, and it's like half the time. Sometimes, she gets around well. Sometimes you forget, like, hey, we gotta slow up a little bit, because this is harder for her. She can't go downhill as fast. She can't go up as fast, like, but most of the time she navigates it, so well that, sometimes it gets to, in the back of your mind, like, hey, why aren't you catching up? Oh, that's right.
Right.
That's right.
Yeah.
You do have some of these limitations that we do need to be cognizant of.
Right. Yeah. So I think that, and that's a good thing. I don't think it's bad. I think it's good. I think it's great for and I think there should be, like we talked about it a while ago with the guy that he had autism and he was playing ball.
Oh yeah, yes.
I can't remember his name
too.
It sucks that I can't remember his name, but
yeah, I remember. He made history.
Yeah, I think it's great that we just, we like we said then. I wish we saw more of those stories, and just people coming out and overcoming those challenges, and just making history, and just showing that, like, hey, no matter what the challenges are, it's not going to stop you from achieving success in whatever you put your mind to. It really makes that whole idea of you can do anything you put your mind to a reality.
True. Yes.
You know? Because some of us more able-bodied, if you will, we find excuses where the quote unquote disabled, they find solutions.
Yeah.
You know, like before all the stuff that went down, like one of my favorite, you know, because I'm into track and stuff, one of my favorite runners was Oscar Pistorius.
Oh, yeah.
Like, dude, like,
my man ain't got no legs, but he wants to be a sprinter. It's like, what are you talking about, bro? Right. You can't sprint because you ain't got no legs.
Right. But you know, despite all the stuff outside of the track stuff, it was like, wow, like this dude, like he's not running no Special Olympics. He running in the Olympics. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he was like, forget the Special Olympics. Like, I'm going for the real thing. You know, the real deal, the one that people said that I can't do.
You worked yourself out when like you're blowing away your Special Olympics competition so much that you can compete for the Olympics, like,
right?
You know.
And to the point where they're like, we don't know if you can run with those because you might have an advantage.
Yeah, and that was like, and when I remember when they first said that, I was like, You telling me the man with no legs has an advantage? The man with no legs but then I looked at it and I'm like, okay, I understand why. You know, obviously Oscar can never twist his ankle or anything like that because you know he's got metal there. Like, okay, I was like, I see where that argument is, but I was also like, bro, like. My man is putting up times, and then he ain't got no.
Right.
Like this dude, just him. Like, I still don't understand how he came out of starter's blocks. I still don't understand physically how that worked.
It baffles me too.
Like we both ran track. Like I don't get how he made that happen.
Like, when if anybody listening that never ran track or doesn't know anything about track, like, it's hard to keep your balance coming out of starter blocks when you have legs
and you've got feet and toes and to help angle you.
Because the way you're supposed to come out of a starting block is basically you're supposed to be falling forward, if you will, like, while also propelling yourself forward.
I mean, you're leaning forward on all fours, barely holding yourself back from going over this line to move at the moment you hear a gun go off and fall forward and pump your legs at a ridiculous rate. And he did that with metal legs that don't have feet, that don't have ankle and ball joints. Right. I don't understand how the man made it work. I really don't.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen just people with no issues fall flat on their face when the guns go off. You know, like, that's not uncommon. And
we see it all the time.
It happens all the time,
to the most elite of athletes.
Yeah, that's how a lot of false starts happen.
Because you're just falling.
And everything's so tightly wound up in them blocks that it's just like, it's like a spring. But you know, it's amazing. But again, like I said, that's just a testament to, like, you get to the point where it's like, my quote unquote disadvantage is somehow an advantage. You know, like with Daredevil, you know, going back to that, it's like somehow my echolocation is an advantage over you having actual eyes. You know, but like I said,
but you know, the way it works, you know, essentially it is. The only thing he's missing out is seeing all the fine honeys. And it doesn't help. I mean, he still gets them. So it's like, you know, hey.
Right.
You know, so it's like
because he got
Claire. Yeah. And Electra. And a little bit with the reporter girl.
Paige?
No, not Paige.
No.
What is her name? I can see the actress's face. That's terrible. So I'm always good with names, but it's been so long since I've watched it. Um,
Yeah, I haven't watched it in a while either.
but yeah, like it's
But
yeah,
yeah,
when it becomes an advantage for you, it's like shoot, Tyrion is like, hey, I'm in trouble. Trial by combat. I'm not fighting. you know
right.
that is
But yeah, even it just came to me. But even Professor X, he's in a wheelchair.
He's in the wheelchair. That's true. Well, now he's not, but
Well, now he's
yeah,
not, but,
for so
you know,
long he's in that
for so long
wheelchair,
he was in a wheelchair.
and they always be screaming on him too. When they get mad at him, you sat there in that chair and did nothing. Like, bro, what was he supposed to do?
What was I supposed to do?
The man couldn't walk. What was he supposed to do? Not sit in the chair? Like,
Which is when you think about it, is even crazier because it's like his psychic powers are so strong that he literally probably could use his mind to walk, and he never did. Yeah, because like he could literally.
but he doesn't have
just
but he's not
manipulate-
telekinetic though. He's just got. He's
Good
yeah.
point. Good
Because
point.
like Jean Grey, she's a telekinetic. She could do that. Now what he could do is just psychically control two people to carry him everywhere. Like that, he could do.
Could do that too, like Brain.
Right? Yeah, like exactly. He could have his own Hodor and just be Hodored everywhere. War getting into everybody. And I didn't want to use Professor X just because he's so like, he's one of those few characters that did get respect that most disabled characters don't get.
Yeah, but I think he got respect in spite of his, not even in spite of his wheelchair. Like I think people just didn't even realize, like because he just again, it's like one of those like the wheelchair disappears when you think about Professor X. The first thing I mean now, yeah, I know he's walking, but all these years growing up, I never thought about Professor X in a wheelchair. As much as he's always in a wheelchair, like it never really comes up until, like you said, when they get mad at him and then they're like, "You just sat there in that chair the whole time." And it's like, "Oh wait, yeah, he is.
He's in his chair.
Yeah, he couldn't get out either."
Until like especially in the cartoon where he's in that floaty one, and then somehow it gets knocked over and he flies out, and it's like, "Oh, it's Charles."
Yeah, I think the first time I even realized was when he was in one of the movies, I forgot which one, and he they knocked over his chair, and then like he couldn't reach it, and he was just kind of just laying there like waiting for somebody to come
pick me up,
like help him. Yeah, and then even like in Logan,
Yeah.
that's when it got really bad. It was just like, oh wait, yeah, he was in a wheelchair. Now he's also like dying. But yeah, you rarely, when you think about it, like that's not the first thing that comes to mind. It's like it's probably one of the most powerful mutants in history.
He's on mega
So
level.
you just
Yeah.
kind of, you just kind of just don't even think about it. So I don't know. Yeah, that's why I kind of brought him up because I'm just like, I totally like a lot of times I forget that he's even in a wheelchair.
Yeah, that's a great point. Well, we hope y'all like that. It's a good topic to ponder over. Not just because those ones are popular, but that there, and especially because there are other characters out there that probably should have a little bit more shine on them. So, we encourage y'all, to be a little bit more cognizant sometime when you're reading your favorite comic book or watching a movie and you notice a character has a disability. Take notice of how they're portrayed and see if that character is getting, just the common respect that we would want any type of character to get, especially in a medium that we enjoy and love. But that is going to do it for this episode of the original Jeek podcast. Again, I am RockinMrMagic, and he is UniqDNA, and we just want to say thank you for listening.
Thank you.
We could not do this alone, not without you, Jeeks, who support us every time you press play. We really appreciate it. If you've heard at the beginning of this show, we do have ad revenue with our host through Anchor, so we really appreciate the support when you press play. If you want to support us financially in any way, there is a link in the description where you can support us to help us make bigger and better content. And we also appreciate any rating and review you do of the show on your favorite podcasting app of choice. We are on iTunes. I guess I shouldn't call it iTunes anymore. Apple Podcasts. We are on Spotify, Stitcher, Castbox, Google Podcasts. And if you can't find us on your favorite podcast app, let us know. Send us an email to jeeknation@gmail.com or message us on Facebook, and we will see if we can get us manually imported into that network. So, until next time, peace.
Ready to make an entrance, so backward cut.
Oh, yeah. Whoa, slow down. Whoa, speed up.
This is DJ What, and you're listening to the original Jeek podcast.